Hey guys, what's up? So today I want to talk about my CI evasion block Flicker Strike Blade Flurry Trickster in 3.7. I need to find a name for this build, that's way too much text. Anyways, as you might know, they have nerfed Trickster with 3.7. For example, you now need to wait 2 seconds to get a Ghost Shroud instead of 1, and also the buffs of Ghost Shroud has been reduced, which is pretty fair, to be honest. It was really powerful and strong. It's still really good like it is. The next thing is they reduced the energy shield values in the passive tree. However, with the buffs they added to 3.7, I've managed to get like a little bit more, if not the same energy shield values than before, and a lot more damage. Before I forget, they also nerfed the crit multi-node at the Scion area, so you don't need the unnatural instinct jewel anymore. So in that sense the build got also buffed because it's now cheaper. Speaking of buffs, they changed accuracy, so now it's a lot easier to get a high hit chance, and they raised the hit chance up to 100%. This allowed me to, in addition to the unnatural instinct nerf, allowed me to free up a lot more passive tree nodes, because I was really struggling to get a decent amount of hit chance. And yeah, speaking of the passive tree, let's just switch to path of building to give you guys some better idea of what I'm talking. So yeah, that's the new tree, and they added quite a lot of things. Like they made some clusters and passive points a lot stronger. For example, Night Stalker used to have 20% increased physical damage with daggers and 40% crit chance, and now they added 20% crit multiplier and 150 accuracy rating. And this treatment pretty much happened to a lot of passive tree nodes in the clusters for every melee weapon in the game. So that's really nice. So we got a lot more power from the passive nodes, and also they changed the placements of some clusters. For example, from the shadows, used to be down here. So you needed one traveling node to get there, and was again less powerful because now we get even some fun stuff like phasing, for example, on kill. They added also this cluster right here, which is giving us leech for life and mana, so we don't have to care about mana leech anymore, and life leech, obviously. Yeah. And the placement of the clusters and the changes to the passive tree allowed me to invest those into energy shield to reach the old value. And also what I would like to mention is, if you see closely, I got two 30 strength nodes, and the reason for that is I'm using Shaper's Touch Gloves. So strength, as you might know, is giving you percentage increased physical damage, and with the Shaper's Touch Gloves you also get energy shield. So that's really nice. Also, yeah, the Frenzy Charge is not really needed because we are using Flicker Strike for clearing maps, and we already get one additional from Trickster itself. Yeah, so basically the rework to melee, melee gems, melee passive tree nodes, and the new placement of the clusters increased the damage of this build by a lot, and freed up again nodes for energy shield. Now a little sad thing, which I honestly can't really like understand. I don't know. Before 3.6, before 3.7, claws were better than daggers, but they were still pretty even in terms of DPS. But they decided to move two claw clusters down there, so the pathing is a nightmare. It's not really eye charming, and therefore the build is also suffering in terms of DPS. Yeah, the DPS would still be fine. I may, or some viewer out there might be able to build up a better passive tree. But yeah, that's the best thing I could come up with, and I honestly don't really like and understand this change. I mean, I think they should have moved the claw cluster next to the dagger cluster so that you can like decide left or right you know, and that's it. Oh, also, I'm not sure if I talked about it. I didn't, I guess. In terms of temp leak viability. So obviously you won't get as much energy shield as I do, but you don't need as much because we still have evasion and block chance helping us in terms of defense. Also, the Red Nightmare Jewel is not needed. I just wanted a way of generating endurance charges because I was getting one additional from Death Store. So yeah, instead of this one you can use a regular jewel with like damage and energy shield. Also, speaking of items, the weapon. This is a mirror tier weapon, so that's like insane, I know. But you can also get a dagger or craft yourself a dagger with the new fossil and betray crafting methods. In this way you should be able to get something around 400 physical DPS. And as you can see, the DPS is still really respectable. I mean, even if you have like 3 million DPS, that's still enough for most of the content. You might be honestly suffering against Uber Elder maybe, but that's not the home of this build. This build is mainly a high red tier mapping build with capabilities of bossing the Guardians and Shaper down. So yeah, as any other energy shield build, this build scales with gear. So yeah, it got cheaper thanks to the nerf of Unnatural Instinct, but yet again, compared to other melee builds, especially life-based builds, it's still pretty expensive. So that's something you have to know. But yeah, it's a really fun build. I mean, in terms of defense, I can show you something really quick. I mean, I know it's a low tier area, but it's I think enough to showcase how the defense work. Also really nice that my cursors now. Let's gain some friends. Oh, only dinos. Okay, Jurassic Park feeling. So I'm doing nothing. That's like only. Oh, I was phasing. So what you see there was Reckoning, which is dealing a counter attack when you block, linked with Tempest Shield and Cast and Crit, because I wanted to find a way to get the additional block chance from Tempest Shield without having to manually cast it. But obviously you can also replace this one with any of the new movement skills, stuff like that. Okay, let's redo that. That was fun. Oh, is that? No, it's not. Oh, but so yeah, I'm doing nothing. I'm not using my flask or something. This is just a block I get from the item, the passive tree, yeah, and evasion, ghost shroud, and block is, as you can see, doing a really great job. And that's why you also don't need as much energy shield as I have. Like something like 6 to 7k is realistic. So yeah, I think I have covered everything I wanted to cover. If you still have questions, leave a comment below, or check the build guide out. Hope you have a great time. Hope I could shed some light into the darkness. And yeah, bye bye.